Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. Wow, we had a very engaging discussion during the break, and we're talking about how policymakers are failing to get our fiscal house in order, which are having consequences for our economy, and it affects even taxpayers for their homeowner taxes. Jack, what were you saying? We were talking about TIFs and...
Yeah, you know, some people think that Mayor Daley was a nice mayor because he cleaned up the loop. Well, his pals that make iron fences and pour concrete in the middle of the street to make pretty things to make it tougher to plow the snow, it made the city look cleaner and better. But what he did is with tax increment financing, which you see one of the results with Sears, and the fact that they had a reduction of $12 million in their taxes, and now they're getting more favors out of it. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that this state, and particularly Cook County, particularly Chicago, have been a curse on business and are always wringing money out of them so to make contributions to the Democrats that are running for office, because they can control the business people. As Dan has pointed out, and I did as well, the tax rates for business in Cook County are more than twice what they are for homes. And so that often results in a rub that's going to run somebody out of business, or what it really does is it makes a nice field for the Democrats in Chicago and Cook County to rig things so that the business people will make contributions to the candidates, the Democrats that are running for office. And they have the political clout to adjust tax increment financing districts like Sears, just one example of hundreds, maybe thousands of places where the one assessor that handles all of Cook County, not Dan, but the guy downtown does it for the whole bloody place, city of Chicago. He can adjust your taxes. And so you go into a tax increment financing thing, the law says if one of those districts that might contain Sears or whatever, and it's supposed to be a blighted area, if it touches another one, the money from one to the other can go waltzing all the way from the airport on down to the south side of Chicago. As long as they have a touching path, the tax increment financing breaks that are given to certain businesses can be spread around, and that results in those politicians funding the Democrat politicians in the whole area. That's what's done. And that's why no businessman in all of Cook County or Chicago wants to contribute to Republican candidates, because if he does, the hell comes down on him from the Democrats. He's the guy that's going to be paying more taxes. The guys that are sucking along with Democratic candidates and getting lots of money for their campaigns, that happens from businesses that are paying tribute to the political power of the Democratic Party in Cook County. That's what's going on, and that's why there's a huge Democrat vote in the city of Chicago and very little Republican vote. It was designed by the way they distribute taxes to be handy for crooked politicians. And that pixie of a mayor is gone now, and everybody is sympathetic with him. The fact is he's busted the city and the county with his crazy business of tax increment districts and everything else where he spent all the money. Now we've got to catch up and pay the taxes to pay the bills that are left behind by the mayor and Madigan downstate. That's what's wrong with the state. That's why the state of Illinois is the most broke state of all 50, not the 57 Obama thinks we've got. I think that's how many Arab states there are. But anyway.
Well, Obama's clearly got to go. I mean, we could get on a whole nother topic. But now Sears, isn't that, corporate crony capitalism?
Well, Sears is a hard call. I mean,
yes, it is.
The downside of them leaving was a loss of 4,000 jobs, and I suppose whatever property taxes they were paying, and I'm not sure how much it was, but of course, keeping them here, it was a big cost too. And not everybody else got the breaks that they got.
But didn't Sears file bankruptcy like a week after that? I think there's something going on with Sears right now and Kmart.
They've closed a certain number of stores, first out of state and probably more here. But You bleed a little bit for Sears. They're in a tough business environment created by the crazy spending of the politicians,
Right.
forcing the business people to contribute only to Democrat candidates. And you won't find businessmen putting their name on any contributions to Republican politicians. That's the way this thing was designed. It's like Oklahoma years ago. They had a dry state. They didn't sell any booze. Well, they sold a lot of booze, but it was profitable for the politicians to let them do that without getting chased by the law. So that's how you set the laws so it feeds the money towards the politicians that are in charge. And the Mayor Daley isn't much different than the booze prohibiting politicians of Oklahoma of yore. It's a scheme, and these guys know how to wring it out without making it so obvious to the voters. But we're here to tell you, this thing was designed for corruption, and until we change that law in all of Cook County, there's other laws to be changed too.
Michael.
The committeemen should be
Well,
up for the vote.
keep in mind when we're talking about what happened at Sears, this was all precipitated by the 67% tax increase that went for corporations.